are doing together, and then you have free time to wait. Then you could work on homework problems. But when we start talking about it all together, you got to come back with us to know if you did it right or not. So, Van, what alarm is going off in your head right now?
Minus a negative.
What about minus a negative?
Turns to a positive.
So everyone's paper should have shown that that minus a negative is going to turn into like addition. Does that negative 1 in the front, is that negative impacted? This negative right here, no, it is not part of becoming addition, right? So this becomes negative 1 plus 6.5. Sorry to be going holiday colors. That was kind of an accident. But according to Taylor Swift, it is holiday season now.
It is? No, Mariah
She released holiday singles, I think a couple last week.
It's Mariah
only know
Carey who
because
decides
math
when it's
counts.
Christmas time, not Taylor Swift.
So, negative 1 and, right, addition, we can say and. Negative 1 and 6.5 end up in a room together. Do they get along or fight? They fight, because one's negative, one's positive. Who wins? 6.5, but then by how much? By 5.5, right? Which somebody this morning said, well, we could switch this around and make it subtraction of like 6.5 minus 1. They're right, we could. Because it's addition right now, you could switch it around and say 6.5 plus negative 1, and then you could think about it like subtraction. Or you could use the skills we've been using, which I think you guys know pretty well. Monsa, I moved everyone, and now I look where you were, and now you're not there. What happens with B? So you guys, the work I'm putting on the board, there's no excuse to not have on your paper because you have plenty of time. So people that I see like playing with the little plus minus tiles, or just playing with like your hair or your pencil or nothing, and somehow like being distracted by nothing, you should be doing this if you haven't done it yet. So Monsef said minus a negative becomes plus positive. So then 2.2 plus 2.2. What's another way that I could say 2.2 plus 2.2? Like, it feels a little repetitive. Monsef, go ahead and finish this out if you want. Ooh, multiplication. You can just say 2.2 times 2, right? It's quicker to say. It's easier. I think the math is pretty much the same. Now, Izzy, there's kind of a trick that we can use with C. Remember what that trick, or you want to tell me what you think about when you look at C?
All I'm thinking is 2 halves make a whole, so you could just make that 1.
Are we adding those halves together?
Oh, never mind. Oh, they cancel out.
Ooh. So we have positive 12 and a half minus 22 and a half. Those can cancel. The halves cancel out, right? So this really turns into 12 minus 22. I know I started up a little quickly. Finish out C, D, and E if you need the time to do that. Finish out C, D, and E. What's up? Oh, well, sweet. Then we can work on more problem if you want. We're going to do 55 together, but that's classwork. Remember to pay attention to the difference between what we're doing for class and what we're doing as homework. We're finishing up C, D, and E. We're not working on homework right now. We're going to squeeze that. C. Oh, there's your answer. I didn't see any work right now. That's not correct. And neither is that. So, down here, -100 minus -98. What alarm should be going off in our head? That is actually addition. So why didn't you write that down here? Because that's why you got it wrong. So let's just write that down here because they don't have a negative and a positive. I don't think they get along. No, because minus a negative. Y'all are going to have to get more comfortable talking with each other, which is a wild thing to have to say to 7th graders. 10 years ago, this would not have been an issue, but now I think you're only comfortable talking with a screen between you guys. Yeah, I know I'm throwing shade because it's on purpose. Jenny, when we had 12, no, I can't remember if I just called on you or not. I don't think so. Jenny, if I have 12 minus 22, could I change that into addition? Because we don't like subtraction. I'm trying to brainwash you guys. We don't like subtraction. Do you know how we could turn that into addition? You got help if you need to phone a friend. Totally fine.
12 plus negative 22.
Yeah, instead of saying minus, let's say plus negative. So if we've got 12 and negative 22 who end up in a room together, do they get along or fight? They fight. They argue. One's positive, one's negative. Who wins here? Negative 22. By how much is it bigger? It's bigger by 10, so our answer is negative 10. Any questions on what we've done so far? All right, so now I need you to imagine with me. Take a trip to imagination land. So we have 100 negatives. Go ahead and pull out some negative tiles if you haven't yet. That's my phone. Let's imagine we have 100 of these. Now, we're not going to get out 100 of them because that would take forever. But if you're told to minus, what's another, like back when you were a younger kid, what's another way you could say minus? Subtract, what's another way? Yeah, not quite. Depends on how we use it. Cal? Get rid of, or like take away, right? Take away 98 negatives, right? Not just 98 in general. So imagine we have 100 of these. We take away 98. Is that going to push us more negative or push us towards the positive? It's going to push us towards the positive because what do we have left? 2. Because this should become negative 100 plus 98 because taking away negatives is like adding. Getting rid of bad guys is a good thing. When we get rid of the Joker, Gotham becomes safer. So we end up with an answer of negative 2. We're still a little negative, but not very. Questions on any of those? E. I want you to count out 10 of those negatives. Count out 10 of these negatives. I'm going to group them so I can see them more easily.
You told us to get out.
I know, but only if you could avoid playing with them, which maybe some people were self-aware and said, oh yeah, I should leave those until I need them. What is the first thing I'm told to do here? Asher. We start with negative 10, then what are we told to do? We start with negative 10, then what do we get told? To minus what? Negative what? Okay, so we're going to take away negative 2. So first thing I'm going to do is my yellow step. I'm just color coding so I can talk with you guys. All right, so take away 2 of our negatives. Bye-bye. Link, what do we do next? What's in green? Take away negative 2. Goodbye. Harrison, what next? Take away. So what are we left with? Negative 4. But okay. If I say, let's, I don't need to use those tiles, right? Like this isn't that tough of a problem. But negative 10 minus negative 2, minus negative 2, minus negative 2. I feel like a broken record. By the way, a record is an old thing people listen to music on. But literally, like records used to skip, because if you got a scratch in the record, it would like keep pushing the needle back to the same place. Minus negative 2, minus negative 2. Okay, so first off, what's minus negative do? Turns into plus 2, right? So plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. I need my negative 10 that I had. Plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Feels redundant. Is there an easier way to write that? I think your hand got there first. Yeah, there's kind of a quicker mental way. I agree with you. But there's like a quicker mental way than doing 2 plus 2 plus 2. Anyone know what that like quicker mental way, Jenny? What do you mean? Because that's what Monsef said, do 2 plus 2 plus 2, get 6. I agree, we can. That's not wrong. I'm just looking for a quicker way. Like? We could do multiplication. Plus 2, how many times?
Times the week.
We could use multiplication to make this negative 10 plus 6. Now, this one, it doesn't save you that much time. But what if I said, like, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4? Wouldn't you rather go back to the start and me just tell you, hey, minus 4 6 times? Like, wouldn't that be quicker? Or, like, how, like, instead of saying, like, give me $2, 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 give me $2. Like, it'd be quicker to say, can you give me $2 10 times? Right? Like, multiplication is how we save time, energy, effort, a lot of things. But it gets kind of tricky as we're talking about negatives. So, let's look at our paper first before we're ready to look at this problem. On 55, we're going to look at the first two. So go ahead and do me a favor and shove those algebra tiles up out of your reach so they're not a distraction. We're going to look at these first two that are stacked on top of each other. I want you and your partner to figure out what are those products, because that's what we call when we multiply. What are those two products there? Chat with each other, figure it out, write it on your paper, please. Isaac, when you look at this, are you thinking, I have 4 negative 3 times? Sorry, I couldn't hear you because my water. What are you saying? What'd you get? Did you get an answer? That's totally fine. So what I was trying to say, and probably my question's weird, can we think about doing something a negative amount of times? Like if I look at this as positive 4 times negative 3, I might say I did positive 4 negative 3 times. What else might I say? How else could I think about this, Mason? I did negative 3 4 times. Kyra, can I borrow $3? Montef, can I borrow $3? Callum, can I borrow $3? Isaac, can I borrow $3? If I borrow $3 4 times, what's my balance now? 12. Am I, like, I owe you guys $12, right? This becomes negative 12 because I borrowed $3 4 times. I'm now in debt $12. Isaac, what are you thinking about for the one below that?
It's kind of the same thing. It's negative 7 2 times.
Negative 7 2 times would give me what? There we go. So here's the really weird question. -7 times -11. I did -7, -11 times. I went back in time? Get the DeLorean! No, Doc is on vacation. DeLorean is broken. We cannot time travel. Who actually gets the reference? If you haven't, go watch Back to the Future.
I think you should know it.
Harrison?
I think it is, so you would do 7 times 11, which is 77, but just make it negative.
So when we just did these, this is why I hate when I make it. When we did these, we got negative answers. And I guess we can kind of look right here at our paper, since you guys have a negative times a negative on your paper.
I think it's,
Did I do -4, -3 times? Like, what?
no, I think it's that because I think it's just like makes it more negative because when you multiplication is like
So hold on, let me pause you there for just a second. 4 times -3. We know that, right? We all agree on this. Ignore that for a second, because that's what's messing with us. What was 4 times -3? -12. What's another name we can give? Because, like, we wouldn't call this subtraction right now. That'd be silly. There's nothing in front of it. What's another name we can give to that symbol? Sophie, you got one? You don't have anything aside from like subtract? What's another word we could use for that? Yeah, but we still wouldn't minus here, right? But that's another name we could give it. Brad, you got one? Negative. So I could write negative of -12, right? Because if I break this up, I might highlight this a little separately. Because I know that that's -12. Hold on, I'm going to keep asking people. I'm using my cards. Jay, you got one? Not here. Sophie, nope. That's the same card. Anna, you got one? Well, what's another name I could give like this symbol? We talked about we're not going to call it minus or subtract. We're not going to call it like -12 feels weird. What's another name? Like if I wrote down this, you might say it's the blank of 5.
It's the opposite.
Opposite. You really might want to on your paper. Because remember, guys, most of my tests are open notes. We can look at this as the opposite of, guys, let's add parentheses right here. Put in an extra set of parentheses. Group up the 4 times -3. Because now we've left that opposite symbol on the outside kind of waiting to be done. We know what 4 times -3 is. We knew it. We did it. We already got it. It was -12. What's the opposite of -12? What 12? Positive 12. This opposite of negative becomes positive 12. And if you want to make a little note there to remind you that it's positive, do that. Do that same sort of thing for the one below it. Add some parentheses to help us group what we already knew. Now, yes, there's a rule that you can memorize that a negative times a negative is what? Yeah, a negative times a negative is a positive.
When you wrote down -12, -12, I saw and I realized it was positive.
What was 2 times -7? What then would be the opposite of -14? Yeah, we just get positive 14. Alright, our last two here. Callum, what do you think negative 4 times 3 will be? We can't do minus, but if we call it negative, we can. So, especially, what if I do this? This might make you happier. What if I do that and say it's negative 4 3 times? What do we get then? Absolutely. Or, and I don't know what you said that made me think about this, we could do this and say save the opposite for last. What's 4 times 3? 12. What's the opposite of that? Negative 12. Negative 2 times 7? Anyone? Negative 14. Yeah. Awesome. Associative, actually, because associative lets us group. It's the associate. So associative uses the parentheses. Commute means to move numbers around. Commutative means to move. So we're going to jump over to this one. You have it on your 324 paper. I would love if somebody else wants to read because I'm tired of listening to myself. You probably are too. Anyone want to talk to us about Howard and his adventure to the mall? It's on your 324. So the other paper with all the grids. I need to go grab another copy because I used mine up. No one wants to read about Howard. All the grid. All the hundredths grids. Monsef. Oh, sorry, Callum. I didn't see you until I said Monsef. Monsef, take us, go ahead and read 64. Callum, you can then read 65 when we get to that.
Howard went to the mall and saw a banner announcing all sporting goods 110 off. He saw a pair of rollerblade laces for 40 cents and wanted to find out how much he would save. With your team, follow the steps to have Howard determine his savings.
Alright, so I want us to do one of these at least like together. You don't have to use the same colors as me, but you could. When we're going to shade things, it's better to shade like the first lighter than the second. So if you just decide to use pencil, that's fine, but I would not use blue or green first. I probably wouldn't even I would use yellow first. Green might be okay, but I would use yellow first if I was you. Let's shade 40 cents vertically. Let's just start vertically to kind of get in this habit. Let's shade 40 cents on our hundredths columns. Or on our hundredths grid. Remember, columns go up and down. Rows go across. So 40 cents, how many columns am I going to shade? 4, right? Because it's a 10 by 10. Focus. There we go. So our 40 cents don't shade too heavy with your highlighters, like move it quickly. If you hold it like sitting on the paper for too long, it will bleed through. And you might want to notate that that is our 40 cents. 0.40 or 40 hundredths. Now we need to do, how much is it off? What's the sale? A tenth. I'm going to use blue now. A tenth off. So I'm going to, guys, when we shade to do math or when we like use visuals, we often switch directions from like step 1 to step 2. So if I started doing our columns, now let's swap to doing our rows to show 1/10. How many rows will I shade to show 1/10? 1, because there's 10. So my 1/10 and then the question that we're asking is how many boxes got double shaded? How many boxes got double shaded? There's our 1/10. How many boxes were doubly shaded, Jenny? 4 out of how many? Yeah. So our answer here is 4 hundredths, or 0.04, because that is 4 hundredths. Oh, he saved 4 cents, which you might not think matters, but if you save 4 cents here, 10 cents there, 20 cents there, like, guys, it's all the little savings that let you then, like, oh, I've got money saved up. I can go to the movies tonight. Or, like, I can go to McDonald's or whatever. Like, I save some money other places. I can spend some money somewhere else. Questions on what we did here? Callum, you want to read 65 for us?
Yay! Well, in the sporting goods store, Howard found some new running shoes. Advertised to weigh only 70% as much as the old running shoes. His old running shoes weigh 0.8 kilograms. He use the problem below to determine how much these new shoes weigh.
Hey, I should edit that and take out that final sentence, because we're just going to do it up here. Let's shade 70%. How could I shade 70% going vertically? Who can tell me what to do? 70%. Mason? Shade 7 columns. So the easiest way is count 3 over and know that I'm shading all the rest of them. If you're using pencil, just start light and then go darker. You don't have to solidly shade. Like, this is kind of obvious. I am shading that whole region in the box that I put, you know, slash lines in. How do I shade my 0.8 kilograms then? Somebody different. Asher? Yeah, then let's do 8 rows across. So again, I'm going to count 2 and then know that everything else, because I know this is a 10 by 10. I like using blue and yellow, because what do blue and yellow make together? Green. So when I use blue and yellow, now whatever, we can talk about Michigan. We're going to whoop them this year anyways. We're looking good. Yeah, you can go right back home with your big L.
Yeah.
Dude, they're not doing very well this year. Who, I couldn't even tell, it sounded like Cal. Is it Mason saying go blue? You can be a Michigan supporter. They beat us the past 2 years. That's fine. I think our O-line finally figured it out this weekend, though. How many boxes got double shaded? What's 8 times 7? Because we did like 8 columns this way. We did 8 rows. We did 7 columns. Yeah, 8 times 7 is 56. So 0.5, because it's 56 hundredths, right? So I just want 0.56 because that's going to be 56 hundredths. Because that's how we would read that. Now that is actually telling me 56 hundredths kilograms. Guys, running shoes are super duper light, depending on who you are. Because like if you're running a marathon, the weight of your shoes is going to matter. Like imagine running, was it 26 miles is a marathon? Imagine running even 6 miles in boots versus like running shoes. Right? Like even I wouldn't even run in these. These are like cross trainer. Like they're heavy. They're comfortable, but they're heavy. I would not want to run in them. No. Although, did you hear about Mr. Smith's idea?
Oh yeah, like the Crocs.
No, his Crocs made for playing soccer. His Crocker shoes.
Oh, Crocker shoes.
I want that.
Well, first they would have to be invented. All right, so the other class didn't get to this, but just to like go ahead and show it to you because it's here, and then you've got things written down, and if you decide to start trying this homework, you're going to want to know how to do this. And of course, you can use homework help. But does anyone want to take a guess at what problem you think this is showing us how to do? And if you need like a gentle nudge, maybe look down here Monsa.
1.4 plus 2.3.
Plus? Because I'm curious why they set this up like this. Ooh. Multiplication problem. You're right that it's 1.4 and 2.3, but it's multiplication. So guys, I will tell you over and over again, fractions are often better than decimals. But sometimes we're stuck working with decimals. 2.3 is 2 whole and 3/10, right? Like we know that. It's a whole and a partial. 1.4, 1 whole, 4/10. Do not draw this. I could take my 2 and multiply by 1 and also do the same thing with the 0.4. I could take my 1 and multiply by the 0.3 and also do the same. Or, don't draw that. I'm erasing it before I forget and somebody picks up this paper. Or, I could say, hey, let's set up 2 and 3/10, 1 and 4/10, and just do the multiplication piece by piece. What's 2 times 1? 2. Now, hold on. It's easier than you even think it is. I don't want you to do 2 times 0.4. I just want you to do 2 times 4. What's 2 times 4? 8. But then how many decimal places do I need? 1. So my 8 needs 1 decimal place. Well, I guess it's 0.8. 1 times 3. 3. How many decimal places? 1. So, well, I guess it's 0.3. Wait. Here's the awesomeness. 3 times 4. 12. How many decimal places? 2. Because 0.4 and 0.3. So this is actually 0.12 because we need 2 decimal places. That's how this works, but we're really going to talk about that tomorrow. So with your homework, do whatever you are able to. Remember that you can use homework help. Even if you can't do 73, I bet you there's some stuff on the back that you might know how to do. If you need a reminder of fraction multiplication, we started doing that last week, but we'll do more of it today. So hold up. What's due on Friday? 3.2.3 and 3.2.4. So hold on. Is that assignment that you just got due tomorrow?
No.
No. You should try to get what you can done tonight, but it's not like, don't freak out. Come to class with questions. What I want is you to come to class saying, hey, I couldn't figure out how to do that. Can we talk about it? And likely, I'll just be teaching it to you tomorrow like it's already planned. But part of the CPM homework is like get you curious about things. Please clip this somewhere safe. Please clip this somewhere safe. Algebra tiles back in, the integer tiles is what we call these. Tiles back in the cups, please. Not just in the bin, in the cups, please. And then I think that's all the time we got. Have a great day, guys.
Oh my god.